out there? How you doing? Woo! Well, we have a lot to talk about. Christopher Williams, that's right, R&B crooner, soul man. Christopher Williams. He's up next. And, well, we have a lot to talk about. So let's just jump right into it, all right? Let's talk. What's up, everybody, and welcome back over here to Pepe's Point of View. And I am your host. I'm your R&B historian, Pepe. And I want to welcome you, new viewers, you returning viewers, and you subscribers. Thank you guys so much for tuning in over here. And yes, I do mainly talk about R&B divas for the most part. That's just what I do in my theme. And every now and then I will incorporate, and talk about other singers, especially my soul man, my R&B crooners. And well, every now and then too, I dish out the dirt on who drop kicked who in these entertainment streets, literally and figuratively speaking. Well, let's just jump right into it. Okay, so for the month of June, if you're not aware, maybe you've been living under a rock or it just have not, came up on your radar. June is a celebration of a lot of things, but June is Black History. Excuse me, I'm saying Black History Month. June is Black Music Month, and so what I've been doing for the month of June is I've been covering R&B crooners, soul men, and Christopher Williams is an artist that I have posted about over here on my community channel as well as on my social media page. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because what I was planning on doing is as I introduce these R&B soul men, right? I was going to talk about them in July, like introduce them in June, then do video and commentary on them in July. But of course, Christopher Williams is in the news. People are talking about some statements that were made, and hold on. Yes, some statements that were allegedly made, actually a while back. So I'm not quite sure why it's coming up again, but we'll talk about that as well. Some statements that was made, regarding some activity that Christopher Williams was allegedly a part of, according to Jaguar Wright. Okay, so just to say that, just to kind of get things out the way before I just go into my spiel. Whew, all right, let me focus over here. Now, we're also going to talk about his albums, two albums in particular, Adventures in Paradise and Changes. So, what I'm going to try to do over here is I'm going to try to mix everything in together. All right. So, let's just get it started. Whew. Okay, here we go. When I came across Christopher Williams, pretty much just like everyone else did, as far as the music by public. And that would have been back in 1989 when he released his debut single from his debut album. Uh, that was, I believe, it was on maybe Geffen Records. I'm not quite sure, but anywho. So the song was called "Talk to Myself." All right. I like the song. I think the song was pretty much okay and it was decent. I think the reason why we kind of liked the song the way we did, for me, I think the song title, Talk to Myself. And then what he was saying, I talk to myself because there is no one to talk to. People ask me why I do what I do. And here's the thing, I think it was just really catchy because, how many times have you said, oh, well, it's okay to talk to yourself, but just don't answer yourself back. So I think that it was just kind of catchy. The title of it was catchy. And then, of course, the beat was the beat of the time. You got that New Jack Swing, era going on. So the song was definitely, a part of the time. Back then, the album was pretty much uh, produced by Alton, Wookie Stewart, and Timmy Gatling. Now, Timmy Gatling was a member of Guy before they brought in Aaron Hall's brother into the picture. Timmy Gatling left the group. He felt like there were some things that was going on in the group from a creative standpoint that he just didn't like the direction the group was going in. So he decided to exit. And then they brought in Aaron Hall's brother. Now, Alton Wookie Stewart, I kind of remember him vividly. I mean, well, a little bit. I'm not quite sure what he was a part of, but if I'm not mistaken, I think Alton is married to one of the ladies in the group Climax. I think it's Lorena. I think it's Lorena. He's married to her. I could be wrong, but I think that's his wife. He's married to one of the Climax ladies. But anyway, decent album, decent effort for the most part. Okay, so now Christopher Williams, when he burst onto the scene, he was pretty much a heartthrob, right? Very attractive guy, uh, and it noticeably so. But not only that, it was the voice. I mean, he really truly has a real strong voice, deep voice singer like the likes of Barry White and Teddy Pendergrass. He fought in Luther Vandross. He falls into that category of singers. Keep that as a side note because that's going to come up when I talk about the Unplugged performance that he had, okay? Because he did remake the song Come and Go With Me, that of course was made popular by Teddy Pendergrass. So all of this stuff is going to kind of come together. So, I'm glad if you're still sticking around with me. I appreciate you guys for sticking around with me. Go ahead on and hit that like button and, subscribe button, so on and so forth. I appreciate that as well. All right. So, like I said, a good strong single that's single talk to myself. Now, not only that, the song was a pop hit for him. It was in the top 40 on the pop charts, the top five or top 10 on the R&B charts. So it was a pretty decent song. Did decently for him. As I said about it being a catchy song, I like it uh, because of the title. But not only that, it's kind of like reminded me, if I don't know, I'm gonna tell my age, but there was a song out back in the early 80s by Rockwell. I think Rockwell is rather the son of Barry Gordy. I believe so. I could be wrong on that. But anywho, he had a song I called I Always Feel Like Somebody's Watching Me. And I think that the two of those songs kind of, gives you the example of, the oh, what, how do I want to call it? They were sayings that they're part of the culture, at the time, and they continue to be a part of the culture. And so I think that's another reason why the song was catchy as well. Now, I like the song. It was pretty decent to me. But when I started like Christopher Williams, it was a song of the next single off that album, which would be Promises, Promises. When I saw this video and seeing Christopher Williams sing, to me, that was it. I was done. I was so digging Christopher Williams. I was like it. It was it. If there was nothing else, if I had any questions, promises, promises sealed it for me. It was like, okay, Christopher Williams can do no wrong as far as musically is concerned. I mean, he has the look, he has the voice, he has that good strong ballad. I definitely like the presentation in the video. I like the fact that he had the ladies in the video, and they were being sensual, selves, pretty much modeling type in the video, but it wasn't nothing too risque. It was just him singing, and then he had the two ladies beside him whom I'm going to believe were models. I don't think they were actually, singing, singers with him. I could be mistaken by that, but anyway. So I liked it. I was like, wow, like I am so digging Christopher Williams. Okay. And that was pretty much it. I didn't think anything else, about Christopher Williams. Nothing else came up, as far as on the radar with me. I like I said, he was just that dude. Now, I will have to say, I know a lot of you guys are probably going to say, "Oh, I don't believe that you're going there," but I am. But it was different. I'm not playing artists against each other, but now it was definitely different with Al B. Shore. Now, why do I bring up Al B. Shore? Because I found out, and I was kind of a little shocked when I found this out, but I think that he could be related to Al B. Shore. And when I found that out, I was like, oh, okay, it is what it is. Not only that, I also recall that who is that? Who is that? Stacey Dash. If I'm not mistaken, I think Stacey Dash, an actress whom he dated. I think she was also in the video of "I Talk to Myself." She was in that video. So if you go back and look at the video, you can tell that he is in. She's in the video. All right. So why do I bring all of this up? Just kind of like as a reminder, for some of you guys who probably don't know. Well, there you have it. Okay, I'm thinking that LB Sure had a stronger. Well, I'll put it to you this way: no one really was saying a lot about Christopher Williams to me for, on the same level as an LB Sure. Like everybody was like LB Sure. you know, all over the place. But for the most part, Christopher Williams, it was like, oh, okay. That could have been a different thing in the industry. In the industry, I'm pretty sure that Christopher Williams and Al B. Sure was pretty much the thing, as far as in the industry. But as far as, them releasing their records and things like that, I think for the most part, Al B. Sure was above Christopher Williams, so to speak, in that era. All right. Now, let's jump into the Jaguar Wright situation, okay? So I'm not quite sure why is it that Jaguar Wright's comment. I'm not sure why Christopher Williams is all of a sudden want to talk about this. And maybe he has talked about this, and maybe now it's just now getting some traction. And I was glad when it first came out. The people made the comment about him when it first came out. I was saying to myself, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I don't believe it. But then I was like, okay, hold on, I think I probably do believe this. Then Christopher Williams was not really making any comments about anything. And so then I was like, you know what? I am so glad Christopher Williams is not making any comments about this. I'm just glad, I was just kind of like, hopefully, that, it would eventually fade away. And then now all of a sudden you look up and now Christopher Williams is responding. Now, if you are a subscriber or if you watch Willie D's podcast, then from my understanding, the snippet that I watch over on Willie D's channel, Christopher Williams was making a comment about, I think it was his publicist. His publicist pretty much, in a roundabout sort of way, it looks as if his publicist was, I guess, trying to persuade him, encourage him, or get him to ride this wave of this comment, in the industry or in any industry, really, for the most part. Good press, bad press. At the end of the day, it's good press. It doesn't matter what kind of press it is, it's good. And that's how the industry sees it. But I have a different take when it comes to Christopher Williams. And I'm going to tell you guys about that later on. But here's what we have here. So allegedly, Jaguar Wright says that Christopher Williams, someone in the bad boy offices or uptown offices, witness Christopher Williams performing fellatio on Diddy. I think, yes, that's what it was. Okay, I was about to say vice versa, but no, it was Christopher Williams allegedly doing that to Diddy. All right, now let's rewind this back a little bit. If you think about his unsung episode, okay, and in the unsung episode, he talks about how he went into the uptown offices because he was upset that he got, let's just say, kind of railroaded. Like, of course, they're promoting his album at the time, so on and so forth. And he's pretty much kind of like upset that MTV did not pick up his performance, that they didn't air his performance, and they aired Jodeci's performance of Stevie Wonder's remake of Lately. Christopher Williams was upset about that, and he decided that, you know what, I'm just going to go in and I am going to, have a discussion with them. Now, here's where we are with this. When I saw the Unsung episode and then Jaguar Wright saying what she had said, I'm saying, who would go into an office and destroy an office like that because someone didn't air his performance? I was like, that's not making any sense. I can see, if it was a monetary issue, we know a lot of the people who probably went in and confronted individuals about, hey man, pay me my money. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't want no diamond ring. I don't want no car. Don't buy me no house. Don't buy me no jacket. You know what I'm saying? Like, run me my money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need my money. All right. And so you can see that, but a performance. So this is just my taking this all alleged because what I am doing is I'm kind of trying to make sense of all of this. And then at the same time, give you my spiel about, what I think is going on. Whoo, child, y'all already making me tired. So I'm saying to myself, is there some truth to this? Could there be some truth to the fact that maybe he did do it with the thought in mind that, what, he would get put on? And when I say put on, I mean really put on. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, man, let me just go ahead and do this, man. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And get this out of my sight, out of my life, whatever you want to call it, and move on. That's why I was thinking, like, what would make him so upset? Because to me, it has nothing whatsoever to do with them not playing the record. But then I come across the Willie D's segment, and those segments that I'm mentioning are going to be in the description, the link at the bottom of this video. But then, Christopher Williams was like, well, you know what? Hey, at that time, I'm 23, 25 years old. I was pretty much a hothead, so on and so forth. So there is a possibility that, what, he's trying to get his career to, take off. Like, I'm trying to get my career off the ground. And hey, listen here, man, y'all are, y'all playing games. Like, why is it that my song cannot be put on? That's what y'all doing. Like, out of all the people, y'all playing me. You see what I'm saying? Y'all playing with my money, you're playing with my career, so on and so forth. And it is what it is. Now, that was one theory, okay, in my head. The one about the fact that, maybe that's why he, destroyed the offices because, he did what he did, allegedly to Diddy, according to Jaguar Wright. But then my theory went to the second theory was, okay, hey, listen to him talk about it in Willie D's podcast. I'm like, wait a minute, it's probably number two. The fact that, hey, y'all messing with my career. And I'm this 23, 25-year-old hothead, right? And I just, don't play with my career like this. Then you have what I would call maybe the theory number three. And what is that one? Well, when I looked at the performance, I went back, I looked at the performance, and that performance is always also linked below. And I looked at the performance. And for what I do over here, I have to go back and listen to the albums as well if I'm going to talk about, the music, because as I said before, I really and truly don't always dish out the dirt on who dropped kicked who in these entertainment streets unless it's relevant to the music, right? And so this here is something that is relevant to the music. And so I was like, well, Christopher, let's talk. Let's talk. Let's go back now over to the beginning when I said you got this young guy, this young, good-looking guy, and let's just say it for what it is. He's light-skinned, it, good hair. You know what I'm saying? Nicely built, strong voice, like he's like the total package as far as image is concerned. And you can't take that away from him at the end of the day. It's life. It's just what it is. You know, I don't follow the standard of beauty. If you understand what I'm saying, as far as media, is concerned. But let's just say at that time, Christopher Williams is definitely that. It is what it is. So you have this singer who pretty much can fall into the same category as a Luther Vandross, a Teddy Pendergrass, a Barry White type of artist, right? And his first album, he redid a song called Always and Forever. It was produced by Nick Martinelli. Now, it was a pretty decent track for the most part. I felt like it was missing something. The song, I really did. The track, it wasn't one of Nick Martinelli's finest productions. And it's definitely not my favorite song by Christopher Williams, Always and Forever. It just isn't. Follow me, I'm going somewhere. So then when I listened to the first time, listening to the entire Changes album, okay, I did that before I, came over here to do my commentary. And I listened to Come and Go With Me, and then I watched the the Unplugged performance, and I go, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's decent. And I'm not knocking him. We're going into my theory three. And I'm not knocking Christopher Williams' vocal ability or the song Come and Go With Me. But as I am listening to the album, the song, I'm like, it's nice, but I'm really not feeling it. Like, I'm not feeling Christopher Williams' uh, um performance. I like at this moment in time, I like songs like Talk to Myself. I like songs like Dreaming. I like songs like All I See. I like songs like I think it's what Every Little Step, something like that. Or, no, Every Little Thing You Do. These songs I'm liking more than Always and Forever, Come and Go With Me. And I like Promises, Promises, as I said before, but I'm liking these other songs more than that. So is it possible, and I'm just throwing out, that when they looked at all of this, somebody somewhere just probably said, we don't care too much for the song. Because we're talking about MTV. We're talking about MTV Unplugged. I'm just saying, could it be possible that it happened just like he said it happened? I'm talking about the record companies. They were like, it's good, but we're going to go with Jodeci. We're going to go with Jodeci, cover of Stevie Wonder's Lately. Now, let's stop right here. Because if we're going to go with Jodeci's version of Stevie Wonder's Lately, when you see Christopher Williams' performance, you will see that man, when I tell you that those people, that band was tight. I'm talking about that band was tight. I mean, those background singers were tight. I mean, Christopher Williams' vocals were tight. I mean, at the end of the day, like when you talk about a performance, a band performance, a background performance, I mean, it looked like all the elements definitely was there. Elements were there for Christopher Williams' career to, really and truly take off. Because here's what I'm willing to believe, and I could be wrong. I don't know when the Unsung came out. I don't know why I keep saying Unsung, but when the Unplugged came out, But if they are talking about putting Come and Go With Me on the Unplugged, then it's safe to say that the other singles from the album, right? The other singles from the Changes album were already released, and that Come and Go With Me was going to be the next single. Do you see what I'm saying? Is it possible? All I see is already released. Every little thing you do is already released. And so this would be the perfect uh, platform to launch his next single, Come and Go With Me. So I'm assuming that too had a lot to do with it as well. Like this is the next single. All right, here's where I'm going. But going back to that performance, and as I said, how tight everything was in this performance, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, you know what? I don't know how they missed it. Then I thought about it and I said, I think I know. All right, here's a theory. It's just a theory. When you think about Jodeci, when Jodeci first came out, you know that their first song, I was like, "Who is these guys?" And well, I'm not interested in them. It wasn't until they released the B side, those singles on the B side of their album, is when they really started to hit. Because that up tempo stuff, I was like, "Oh man, I don't even remember playing anything on Jodeci's first album, that A side. I don't remember playing any of those songs." But the B side definitely got heavy play. All right, where I'm going with that. If you notice anything about Jodeci, you know Jodeci, especially KC, he is this over the top singer, right? I mean, just over the top. It seems like he's trying to out sing himself. All right, over the top. But it looks like when they are singing lately by Stevie Wonder's version lately, it's calmer. They're sitting there, they're singing it, and that's what it is. They're not trying to outdo Stevie Wonder. KC is not trying to outdo himself. He's not trying to outdo the other members in the group. They're just singing a song lately, and it's just very moving, right? It's something about KC's voice that he just has a good voice, and he's like Luther Vandross. If you think about it, he can wake up any song and make it his. I'm going somewhere. He can just about he can take any song and make it his for the most part. KC. But when you look at Christopher Williams' performance, when you take into account that he had the single Always and Forever on his first album, and you take under consideration that he redid Come and Go With Me, okay. I'm not saying Stevie Wonder can't sing, but let's just be honest. It's not like we're saying that we're looking at Stevie Wonder for more than just his singing abilities. We're looking at his abilities as a producer and as a songwriter and then a singer. But you have songs like Heat Waves, Always and Forever, and you have a song like Teddy Pendergrass's Come and Go With Me. I think where Christopher Williams fell short in these two instances would be that he fell short because he was being compared to who the singer of the original singers of those songs. So it would be Teddy Pendergrass and Christopher Williams. As much as we want to say, hey, you know, you do good, you sound great, you are in the same category as a Luther Vandross or Teddy Pendergrass and a Barry White, so on and so forth. But for the most part, we have to say this, Christopher Williams, you're not those singers. Like you're not Teddy Pendergrass. And I'm wondering, and I know we're just talking, but I'm saying to myself, like, you know what? Could it be that maybe after watching it, that they're like, okay, it's a good song, but you know what? I don't know. I don't think we're going to release it. It looked like we're going to get more traction with Jodeci. Could it be that record company politics played a lot in this, as it was said, and the fact was we're fixing to run all of our money, bet all our money, put all our money into uh, the next sure thing. The next sure thing would be Jodeci's lately single. All right, Christopher, it was a decent album. Changes is a decent album, but we really and truly think we probably got all of the singles that we're going to get, and the album has gotten all the traction it's going to get, so on and so forth. I give you a prime example. There, okay, I don't know why this is coming up, but we're talking about we talk about R&B divas over here. You remember Vesta Williams? Vesta Williams, who had the song out, "Congratulations," "Sweet Sweet Love." That Vesta, right? And Vesta, when her song "Congratulations," I think they said it was "Sweet Sweet Love," but I don't think it was "Sweet Sweet Love." It was "Congratulations." "Congratulations" is her biggest song in her catalog, and that song was definitely going up the chart. And that song made I think it hovered somewhere around the top 50 on the pop charts. So in her ensemble, she was like, "Hey, the song is already doing what it's doing. Like y'all can put some backing behind it." But instead, what they did was they pulled the plug. They pulled the plug on promoting the song "Congratulations," and therefore it stopped. It was going up the charts, but it stopped. And it stopped, and they took her budget, she says, and they put it into Janet Jackson. You have to keep in mind that uh, Vesta Williams was on A&M Records at the time that Janet Jackson was on A&M Records, and they put all their money behind Janet Jackson. The same thing happened with Melissa Morgan. Melissa Morgan, when she released the album "Still in Love," I believe that was the name of the album, "Still in Love," and I think it was in 1991. And when she released that album, MC Hammer had "Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him" out in 1991. And guess what? We was like, "Hey, we're doing the Hammer thing. Like, we're putting all our money behind him. Like, we're not really promoting Melissa Morgan's album, not like that." Do you see where I'm going? So is it possible that Christopher Williams has probably found himself in that situation for real? And as he was saying, "Man, I'm still hot. I still got, this album got another good single on it. And now you guys are going to pull the plug on it. Like, no, y'all not going to sabotage my career like this." It's possible. It's possible that happened, the way it did. But overall, in general, when it comes to his both of his albums, "Adventures in Paradise" as well as "Changes," I'm going to give both albums a B minus as far as a rating. I never really gave albums a rating, and I decided I'm going to start doing that. I go by single, and just talk about whether or not if I like the single on the album or not, and so on and so forth. But I'm gonna say from now on, I'm also going to rate the albums, and I'm going to give this album a B minus. I'm gonna give the other one a B minus. The album "Changes" is definitely heavy, heavy bad boy uptown. It definitely has that uptown vibe to it. But I think for me, Christopher Williams is a better up tempo singer. I don't know why it is, but I think, and this is just me. I, I, I know people are going to go like, "Huh?" I think it could be that Christopher Williams' personality, like the fun side of him, the Christopher Williams that we all flock to, for whatever the case is that when you give him a good up tempo song, a real good feel good song, forget the fact that the record company was like, "No, this band can't dance," and that might be true, but at the end of the day, I think he comes alive with these up tempo songs. And I think that that's just what we are drawn to with him. We love his ballads. As I said, "Promises, Promises" sealed it for me. We love his ballads, so on and so forth. But I think we really dig him with the up-tempo songs. So I'm going to say that I don't know as far as theories are concerned. He could destroy the office allegedly because, hey, you know, I did this to Diddy with and I'm not making a laughing matter. It's just that, I'm trying to be mindful how I say this. He performed this act allegedly because of Diddy, trying to get on, so on and so forth. And the reason why Gene is pictured here is because Gene said no, it wasn't him. It was a guy that looked like Christopher Williams who worked, at Bad Boy as well, or Uptown offices as well. Who knows? Who knows? Who child? Or it could be, like I said, hey, y'all was trying to destroy my career, and I don't understand why you guys did not do this. And I'm 23-year old, I'm a 23-year-old, 25-year-old hothead, right? Now, ending this because I'm about to end it. Woo. At first, I was about to go in and do this video a totally different way. I had something different in mind uh, with this video. And then I said, you know what? I think I'm going to do this another way. And the reason why I decided I thought I was going to do this another way is because I actually watched another clip of Willie D's podcast when Christopher Williams is talking about, who is he talking about? He's talking about Bobby Brown. I think the title of it, Christopher Williams on Bobby Brown being the king of R&B and how the media made us turn on Will Smith. That's the video. And when I watched that one, I kind of got a different sense of Christopher Williams' mind frame. And as I said before, I was saying to myself, I was so praised, so I was cheering for Christopher Williams in the fact that he was not responding to this. I was glad he wasn't responding to this. I was like, you know what? Hey, nothing good is going to come out of him responding to this. And so he's finally responded. And here's what I'm. All right. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but my video cut off. So I continued to let it go through. I think I have a theory why it went off, but it is what it is. All right. So, as I was saying, here's my take on what I think should be Christopher Williams' uh, 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 plan of action when it comes to, how he should handle this. First of all, it already looks, as I said, like he has his head on his shoulder. He has a good head on his shoulder for the most part. So what I am going to suggest is this. He can easily follow the good press is bad press is good press route. Maybe as his publicist said, he made a comment saying, she's talking about, A-list celebrities like, Beyonce, Mary J. Blige, Jay-Z, so on and so forth. Like she's talking about these people. And therefore, since she's talking about these people, you know what? Hey, she's mentioning my name. Let me, jump on the bandwagon and do it that way. But here he is finding himself going between Jaguar and Gene, and anybody else he feels like he needs to, uh, uh, control the narrative. And if controlling the narrative means that he has to go back and forth with these individuals, then it is what it is, right? I say differently. Here's what I think he should do. All right. Number one, I really truly do think that he could also reach out to the LGBTQ plus community. And here's how I think he should do it. First of all, simply by saying, whoa, wait a minute. I can see how these statements that have been made towards other people, whether if you are part of the LGBTQ plus community or not, just these statements alone, I can see now what these statements does to a person's reputation. And instead of me having to go and convince people that I am not, let me first and foremost say that making these kinds of statements is not something that should be taken lightly at all. These statements can ruin people's lives, whether if it's true or not. Simply because, and here's the thing, simply because you can't control whether or not if somebody's how someone comes out. You just can't. And I think the LGBTQ plus community understands that. I think people who say that they are friends of people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community can understand that as well. Not to say that he is, but basically to say, hey, making these statements like this, I understand hurts reputations, can cause conflict in the workplace, can cause conflict in family, can cause conflict in the church, like so on and so forth. And all I'm basically saying is that I am here and he needs to go, obviously, and do some performances over, in some parts of the LGBTQ plus community, some clubs, so on and so forth, just to make sure that he stands against discrimination. Discrimination. It's just what it is, right? Get your bag over there, do a couple of shows, two or three. Yeah, I'm saying get paid for it. Now, I'm not telling you not to get paid for it. Because first of all, we're going by the theory what good press is bad press is good press. So it doesn't matter. They're talking now. You might as well go on over there. You know what I'm saying? And take a stand against negativity, right? And discrimination. And go over there and say, hey, I'm just letting you guys know. No, I'm not. You guys do your things, but discrimination and saying derogatory comments about anybody is not good at all. It wasn't me, but that doesn't have anything to do with it at all. I'm just here basically saying, here I am, and so on and so forth, and move on from that. That's number one. I think the next thing I would advise him to do would also be like, wait a minute, as far as his fan base is concerned, his fan base is concerned, because he is what? A man's man. He is a ladies' man. And he can also, that could hurt his career as far as, with his female fan base, because some people be like, I'm no one listen to Christopher Williams music. If you know what I'm saying, if that's what it is. I mean, you got some people out there who may no longer look at him as a heartthrob, so to speak. I know that's a young term to use for people who are, 50 plus, but they might not look at him like that either. So he should also too go and say, hey, it is what it is. That's not me either. You see what I'm saying? There's so many ways that he can go about being in the public eye, right? Get in his bag, and also at the same time being able to be back into the forefront or the spotlight again without all of this negativity and this back and forth with people. But it is what it is. But that's my take and that's my spiel on it. I thank you guys for sticking around. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. So I think that if you have made it this far, it's only appropriate for me to go ahead on and ask you guys, to hit the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, so on and so forth. I appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with me. And not only that, my motto over here is simple. It's a very simple motto. Put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. I look forward to seeing you guys next video. And until then, you know what to do. Take care of yourselves because I know I will. All right. Take care.